After hundreds of years of searching, a surprising discovery opened a new chapter in history. The tomb believed to belong to Cleopatra herself. Inside, strange symbols, mysterious objects, and what seemed to be warnings from ancient times were found. But the question is, why did it seem like the final resting place of Egypt's most powerful queen was deliberately hidden? And what secrets could it reveal that might change our understanding of history? But before that, please like and subscribe. That means a lot to us content creators. Thank you very much. So let's get started. Cleopatra's burial site, the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, has been a mystery for over 2,000 years. She was one of the most powerful women in the history of the Mediterranean. She was known for her intelligence, beauty, and leadership skills. But until now, experts still don't know where she is buried. After Cleopatra and her beloved Mark Antony were defeated by Octavian, who became Emperor Augustus, their lives ended in tragedy. According to the historian Plutarch, Antony stabbed himself with a sword. Cleopatra, on the other hand, is believed to have used poison from an asp, a type of snake that symbolized the power of the pharaohs. They were allowed to be buried together in a magnificent tomb, but there is no clear record of where it was built. Cleopatra's power was centered in the city of Alexandria. Her palace stood there on the island of Anti-Rhodos, along with the temples and the famous Library of Alexandria. This place was once a cenotaph. According to the historian Plutarch, Antony stabbed himself with his own sword. The historian said he stabbed himself with a sword. The palaces, temples, and possibly the queen's tomb slowly vanished from view. Many researchers have tried to find the tomb for centuries, but all have failed. No coffin, inscription, or chamber has been found to prove that it has been discovered. The only discoveries are broken statues, coins with Cleopatra's face, and some building ruins. These are reminders of her grandeur, but they do not answer the question of where she is buried. Meanwhile, in modern times, there has been renewed hope. With the help of modern technology, such as sonar mapping, sediment sampling, and underwater excavation, the thorough search was started again. One of the leaders in this was the French marine archaeologist Frank Gaudieu. They discovered large pillars, statues, and objects from the time of Cleopatra under the sea. They also found parts of her palace and the temple of Isis, a goddess connected to Cleopatra. But even though many things have been discovered, there is still no sign of the actual tomb. Because of this, experts looked at other places, such as temples and necropolises, outside Alexandria. There are some old records that say it might be located near a temple that is devoted to Isis on the city's west side. But because of the drastic changes in the area and the loss of maps, the search became even more difficult. Even now, there are still many questions. Is it true that she was really buried together with Antony? Or were their remains hidden so that they would never be found? Is it also possible that the grave was deliberately kept secret to prevent the treasure from being stolen? Meanwhile, as the years go by and technology continues to advance, researchers are becoming more hopeful that the true tomb of Cleopatra will eventually be discovered. Previously, only legends and stories existed about her final resting place. But as time goes by, it is gradually becoming possible to find it in real life. The discovery of the Temple of Isis under the sea was the beginning. After this, attention shifted to the ruins on land where pieces of statues, inscriptions, and architectural details were found that seemed to be hiding a secret. One of the main focuses of the study was Taposiris Magna, also known as the Great Tomb of Osiris. Just from the name alone, you can already feel the weight of the mystery. This place is located about 45 kilometers from Alexandria. It was built during the time of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, a leader known for combining Greek and Egyptian traditions. The whole temple is devoted to Osiris, god of the afterlife. But for a long time, most scholars believed that Taposiris Magna was just a place for rituals and worship, not a tomb for queens or kings. According to ancient Egyptian tradition, pharaohs were buried in large pyramids or in the Valley of the Kings. Temples were reserved for ceremonies and prayers, so they were rarely used as burial places. As a result, Taposiris Magna was previously excluded from serious searches for Cleopatra. But there was a female archaeologist who did not agree with this view. Her name is Dr. Kathleen Martinez from the Dominican Republic. According to her, there is a significant connection between the goddess Isis and Cleopatra. Isis is a symbol of resurrection and power. Meanwhile, Cleopatra always portrayed herself as the living symbol of Isis. In the old stories, after Seth killed his brother Osiris, Isis hid her identity. She was buried in a secret tomb to return again in the afterlife. Based on this, it's possible that Cleopatra chose to be buried there to show her close connection to Isis. In connection with this, in 2005, Dr. Martinez began an extensive excavation at Taposiris Magna. Over the years, they discovered passageways and tunnels beneath the temple. In the hallways, they found several tombs, statues of rulers from the Ptolemaic period, and many coins bearing the face of Cleopatra. For Martinez, the connection of this place to the last queen of Egypt is clear. However, up to now, the queen's actual tomb has still not been found. The temple has gone through many disasters such as invasions, earthquakes, and gradual decay. This is natural damage. There are even local legends that say the place has a curse or some kind of divine protection. It's as if time and history themselves have protected one of the world's best-kept secrets. Despite this, the search continues. Because if Cleopatra's tomb is ever found, it will be one of the most important discoveries in history. In connection with this, by 2022, the search for Cleopatra's tomb reached a more significant stage. This was led by Dr. Kathleen Martinez. They used modern technology such as ground-penetrating radar and three-dimensional seismic imaging. With its help, they discovered a unique structure underground, a passageway carved directly into the rock. It's nearly 1,300 meters, or over 4,200 feet long. The experts were again amazed by its size and craftsmanship. According to engineers, the design of the tunnel is similar to ancient Greek aqueducts that were used to bring water to distant places. But it's clear that this tunnel was not just for water. Based on the time it was built, it's possible that this was part of a sacred place constructed to hide or protect something very important. As they delved deeper into their investigation, they noticed that some parts of the tunnel were flooded with water from underground. The walls had cracks, signs of a long period of earthquakes and shifting ground. Every step came with the risk of collapse. But despite the danger, the archaeologists pressed on because of their intense desire to discover what was hidden beneath. At the end of the passage, they discovered a sealed chamber. Its entrance had stones that seemed burned, as if there had been an intense fire or explosion inside. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. The air became heavy, almost still. Their equipment suddenly malfunctioned, and even the lights seemed to dim. Because of the danger, they were forced to stop entering for a while, and they had to find a safer way to see inside the room. Some believe that this could be the final resting place of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. If true, this would be a major discovery in Egypt's history. This is a sacred tomb for Osiris. For now, the contents of the chamber remain a mystery. But every discovery that adds to our knowledge brings us closer to the answer. Meanwhile, as the excavation goes deeper, the pressure from different sides also increases, not only from the experts, but also from the media and local officials. Everyone feels that the Temple of the Forgotten Dead is about to reveal what it has been hiding for so long. And whatever they discover, it could shock the whole world. In the middle of the excavation, the archaeologists found what they called the Osiris corridor, a long underground hallway. It slowly appeared as they removed the dust. The walls had many carvings that repeatedly mentioned the name of Osiris. The passageway smelled of resin and incense, traces of ancient rituals performed thousands of years ago. Inside, most burial chambers remained intact. The mummies were wrapped in 7 layers of cloth and had thin sheets of gold that shimmered even in the dim light. There were jewelry and masks included as protection in the afterlife. One of the most important discoveries was a mummy with a golden scarab placed directly on its heart, a symbol of rebirth and eternal protection. This shows that the person may have belonged to a high social class. Coins with Cleopatra's face are also scattered around. The lines of her face are still clearly visible. These are not just money, but also messages of her power and leadership. Not far from here, statues of Ptolemy XII, Cleopatra's father, were also found, intricately carved as a display of power and the blessing of the gods. But what added even more mystery were the inscriptions in every corner. The name of Osiris is repeatedly mentioned, along with phrases that invoke resurrection. In a room where part of the roof had collapsed, 2 coffins were found side by side. Their faces were unrecognizable, but their identical positions were clearly intentional. It's like a symbol of a shared fate. Beside it, a stone was found with an old carving that said, "He who walks with Isis and he who fell by the sword." No royal cartouche, no name, only a mysterious clue. It's like the story of a queen and a warrior, whether lovers or enemies, who in the end were united by death. All of this raised more questions than answers. The discoveries in the Osiris corridor may be clues leading to Cleopatra's final resting place. Until now, the question remains, have we already found the doorway to her tomb, or is the real search just beginning? But is there another mystery surrounding the Osiris corridor? While the thorough investigation continued, the seismic instruments placed around the temple detected unusual movement underground. There were faint pulses, clear and consecutive, almost like a heartbeat. The source of this was a sealed room that had not been touched for a long time. This was not just an ordinary tremor. It followed a pattern that geologists and engineers could not explain. Could this just be a natural movement of the earth? Or could there be something hidden and deliberately preserved beneath the thick granite? But the air around became even heavier. It's as if the very ground itself is giving a warning, using a language long forgotten. Every tremor brought anxiety and fear to the members of the expedition. From then on, the Osiris corridor was no longer just considered an impressive piece of architecture. It became a mystery that seemed to carry a message, and the group was determined to find the answer. In addition, on the walls of the passageway, a story was discovered that was almost erased by time. In the faded Greek and Demotic inscriptions, hints of the merging of different cultures appeared. This shows the attempt of the Ptolemies to combine Egyptian religion with Greek and Roman symbols. It was a way to strengthen the influence of their rule and maintain unity. But the most remarkable discovery is on a panel made of shiny obsidian. The engraving is so clear that the image of Nesis and Osiris, tightly embracing under a sky full of stars, seems to come to life. It shows what is called the field of reeds, the paradise where the soul finds peace after death. As the smooth stone is touched by the faint light from the torches, the image itself seems to move. It's as if there's a spiritual presence enveloping the passageway, a memory of the gods that the ancient Egyptians continued to revere. In the eyes of those who witnessed it, this was not just a carving, but a reminder of the connection of man and the soul's eternal journey. But beneath the image of Nesis and Osiris, there is an inscribed warning written using a combination of Greek letters and hieroglyphs. It states here, "Do not disturb the lovers who are peacefully sleeping. Their union guards the balance." It may seem like just a poem at first, but if you think about it, it's clearly a warning. It says that those who are laid to rest inside the tomb are not just ordinary people. It says that the guardians of order and their unity are what stand between life and death. Meanwhile, experts discussed its meaning. For some, it may be a plea from the priests for future generations to respect those who have passed away. For others, it's a serious warning against grave robbers or anyone who dares to enter. This kind of warning is common in ancient writings that aim to protect the dead against desecration. Additionally, as the excavation continued, archaeologists found a small gold tablet near the entrance. Its edges were melted as if exposed to intense heat or fire. This may have been caused by an ancient explosion or volcanic force that occurred thousands of years ago. But despite the damage, the engraved names are still clear: Cleopatra, Thea Philopator, and Marcus Antonius. Unlike the usual Egyptian hieroglyphs, these names are written in Latin and Koine Greek, the languages of the Roman Empire. This shows that the tomb was not only built during the Ptolemaic period, but may have been completed or consecrated during the Roman era itself. This proves the strong bond between Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Likewise, behind the gold tablet, where the most difficult obstacle was found, there was a massive wall made of granite and lead. These materials were molded together as if they were fused by fire or by a force that is hard to explain. This kind of workmanship is not commonly seen in the tombs of Egypt. This is a unique combination of metallurgy and masonry that is difficult to understand even for modern society. This raised a serious question. Should the wall be destroyed or left as is? The decision is no longer a simple matter of archaeology. It has also become a matter of politics, religion, and ethics. Approaching the secret of the tomb is not just about uncovering history, but also meddling with mysteries that have long been hidden. Additionally, a hidden chamber was discovered underground after being buried for thousands of years under thick layers of limestone and sediment. It was identified using ground-penetrating radar and unusual heat detected in satellite scans. When the entrance was opened, everyone was filled with excitement, but no one was truly prepared for what was inside. In the middle of the room, there was a massive coffin, a black sarcophagus, unlike anything else in the history of Ptolemaic Egypt. Carved from a single piece of jet black granite, it had no carvings, symbols, or inscriptions. Lips on smooth. The entire surface was smooth, as if made with technology far beyond what ancient people were accustomed to. When experts examined it using spectrographic analysis, they discovered that the composition of the stone was unusual. There was a high concentration of titanium and magnetite, elements that are rarely found in Egypt. This suggested that the granite might have come from a distant volcanic region, hundreds of miles away. Even more surprising, the coffin had a gentle warmth. It couldn't be felt on the skin, but it was clearly seen using thermal imaging cameras. The temperature of the chamber remained at 22 degrees Celsius, but the coffin was always at 29 degrees Celsius. This consistent heat cannot be explained by normal means. When the air inside the room was examined, a high level of mercury vapor was found, higher than what is usually found in archaeological sites. Mercury has long been used as a preservative and in rituals, but it is rarely found in such large quantities. There are also traces of arsenic and cinnabar, which are substances associated with ancient alchemy and embalming. This suggests that there may be ritual methods of preservation that modern Egyptology has not yet discovered. Even the soil around the chamber is unusual. It has high levels of lead and selenium. The question arises, was this intentionally placed here? It's possible that these toxic minerals were used as protection against damage, or to scare and prevent anyone from entering. Inside the coffin, 2 wrapped bodies were found, and they remained intact even after a very long time had passed. According to anthropologists, one was a woman with clear Greco-Egyptian features. Her skull's unusual shape is noticeable because it was intentionally elongated. It was a tradition among women from the upper class during the time of the Ptolemaic dynasty. When subjected to radiocarbon dating, it was revealed that she died exactly then, year 30 before Common Era, the same year that Cleopatra was reported to have died. The second body was a tall, well-built man. His appearance had clear Roman characteristics, with a broad jaw, a high nose, and he was about the same age as the woman at the time of death. Between their bodies, a bronze cylinder was found. It was covered with rust and unusual minerals that are commonly found near volcanoes on the coast of southern Italy. Even though it was old, its form remained intact. It was tightly sealed with no hinges or any way to open it. When examined with an X-ray, a strange shadow appeared inside. It looked like organic material that slowly moved as time passed. Due to what they saw, it was quickly taken to a Cairo laboratory. Magnetic resonance imaging and neutron scan analysis. But instead of providing answers, it only deepened the mystery. A slight movement is visible inside. The heat fluctuates and there are sudden bursts of electromagnetic signals that can't be explained. The question spread quickly. Does the vessel contain an ancient form of life preserved using unknown technology? Or could it be a storage for things that were deliberately preserved for the future? However, it became even more mysterious when some thought that the two bodies could possibly be Cleopatra and Mark Antony themselves. Could it all just be a legend? Or is there a deeper secret that has yet to be discovered? At first, the government kept all the information strictly confidential, but it didn't take long for the news to spread because of the strange events happening to those involved in the study. Several members of the research team suddenly fell ill, experiencing severe coughing, intense headaches, and extreme weakness that they couldn't explain after conducting tests using air and dust taken directly from inside the coffin and chamber, where the presence of unknown bacterial spores was detected. According to experts, these are classified as extremophiles, a type of microbe that can survive in extreme conditions. They were able to stay alive even with almost no oxygen and even when surrounded by mercury. Most likely, these microbes went dormant since the coffin was buried and only woke up when people opened it. At this point, the simple search for history suddenly became a health threat. It's no longer just the mystery of the past at stake, but also the safety of people living today. But it became even more frightening to discover that some spores are resistant to common antibiotics. Because of this, the entire team was immediately placed under strict quarantine. At the same time, the World Health Organization quietly issued an advisory to the laboratories involved in the investigation. Meanwhile, the investigation of the bronze cylinder intensified. According to the motion sensors, it emits a strange pulse like the heartbeat of a living thing. This doesn't match any mechanical device or basic chemical reaction. Some scientists said that it might contain tissues or microbes that have remained alive through a special method of preservation. It is believed that mercury and cinnabar were used as natural defenses against microbes. Because of this, the Egyptian government immediately imposed a lockdown on the excavation site itself. They stated that this was for everyone's safety. In satellite images, you can see tighter security, soldiers standing guard, and signal jammers to prevent any information from getting out. There is no formal statement declaring the site a biohazard. The fear and tension are normal and official,